Okay, so in this video, I will be explaining my take on what I call it. I don't know if it's discovery or invention, but my analysis of what I call a zoomed in and zoomed out way of life, and the limitations of it, why we should probably do it, and how we can improve our life, or how do we overcome the limitations of any of these views of life to use it to our advantage and get whatever we want in life, to living our best life. Alright, let's dive into zoomed out way of thinking first. Okay? So, zoomed out way of living, which is where actually I have been on my default mode is. It is a bit of like, we don't look at things too closely, especially negative feelings. We brush aside, simple, what we call then as like simple issues. We ignore little inconveniences or little needs being unmet in life, or anything that makes us unhappy, or something that's more like, actually it's not right, you want something more, but you sort of brush away that feeling. I personally think people who have freeze or fawn response tend to lean towards zoomed out way of thinking. There's a problem with this. The good with this is, you're not wasting your time on like, little things, okay? So, which is amazing, right? Who wants to look at like every single thing in life and like, trying to resolve the problem? Sometimes things are better left, pick your battles wisely. So, I think that's like the plus of having a zoomed out view of life. But the negative of it is, have you ever been in, if you have zoomed out outlook towards life, I really want to know if you've ever felt in your life where you wish you addressed a problem way sooner. Do you ever feel that? And then you brush it away again. So have you ever felt like, I should have addressed this problem way sooner? Now it's too late. Do you resonate with that? I would love to know, because I have been in this position for a really long time. And I think we keep doing that until the problem becomes so huge, and eventually we can't ignore, something, a consequence of our tendency to ignore problems becomes greater, and maybe it's too late. It actually is too late. So that's zoomed out way of thinking. I have ignored finances. I don't want to look into it too closely because I know what I might see, and eventually I have to own it and address it. I have ignored a few problems I had with interpersonal relationships, be it friendship, with my mom, with in my marriage, in every other step. I have also seen people ignoring, something that they know they have to start, looking for a job or study or something, but they don't do it because it's almost like a fear response, but you sort of like zoom it out as opposed to saying, okay, this is the problem, and you almost have like a rational reason behind it, but if you actually closely listen to it, there's a fear of like, I don't know what's going to happen. Now, what is zoomed in approach to life? I have been there. Actually, I am there really recently, and I'll explain. Let's see what zoomed in approach to life that I have noticed. Alright, so zoomed in approach. Guys, I both hate and envy anyone who has a zoomed in approach to life. Yes, I do with them, is because I think people who have fight or flight fear response by default tend into this zoomed in approach to life, where honestly they resolve the problem. They're not like, if they see something is wrong, they're not giving up. They are absolutely resolving it, which is amazing, right? When you think about it, you need a lot of courage to actually look into the problem, and like they will go to any extent to resolve the problem, but they're definitely not brushing away any little problem. Now, the reason I hate, because I have been in, I think for the past few years, I sort of like crash landed into zoomed in approach. The reason I hate this approach is because I I happen like I go from 0 to 100 in terms of like intensity. Once I see like a little problem, I lose a bit of like context around it. And for example, if I see someone like I don't know, maybe someone ignoring my message or not responding to me, and I'm like, I just go like absolute the worst possible scenario or reasons for that incident. For me, it's like, see, you guys will not understand me. You guys are never there for me. Now my life is screwed up. It's all because of what, like, I don't know, some little thing not happening. So, let me find if you're in zoomed in approach. Have you ever felt like you overreacted to things? Do you feel guilty later? Do you think you could have been much calmer? Or when you share a problem, do other people tend to say, why are you overreacting? Or it's not such a big deal. Maybe it is. By all means, never ever invalidate your emotions. But is this still true? Really? Just question yourself, even you felt, yeah, actually that was a bit too much for what has happened. You think of it when you actually get into like the regulated or calm state. Thanks for my friends who really helped me calm down. Every friend I spoke to recently, in like I think past couple of weeks, everyone, this is what they reminded me. They were like, what has happened? Like, you just need to chill out a bit. You're taking things way out of context. Like something on a scale of like 20 fear, I give it like 200, and they're like, not a big deal. What are you complaining about? So let me summarize what I am trying to say, and tips and tricks that people are leaning on both sides would probably, when my friends told me these things, that really helped, and I'm sharing it with you guys. If you're a person in a zoomed out state by default, this is huge, okay? This is huge. I read all the books about this concept, but honestly, guys, it needs a ton of strength. What's needed for people with the zoomed out approach? 100% the capacity to be vulnerable. Can you put yourself out there 10% more, little more, address your fears on why you're in this freeze or fawn mode, definitely we have to increase the muscle of feeling vulnerable. Are you living the life that's in your control? Don't try to band-aid one problem with, like, you're not covering up one problem with the other, but actually addressing the issue, For example, me getting better with my savings or finances is not finding a better job. It is about probably, I don't know, like getting better at noticing my income and expenses, So, are you solving the right problem, or are you working around them? Watch. Like the zoomed in people magnify the actual problem. The people with zoomed out approach magnify the risks of addressing the issue. It is not that bad. Take little bit risk. Try to be vulnerable. Go out there. Put yourself out there. Speak up. Be seen. Have difficult conversations. Take that one step. Take support. So it is the vulnerability that you need to address it. And in my experience, life will teach this to you anyway. Either you'll end up doing it, or things will happen to you where you will have no choice but learn the skill anyway. So be vulnerable. Brené Brown is an amazing resource to have this power of vulnerability. Now, people with zoomed in approach, what I learned is they need some trust. Oh my god. Honestly, I don't know what has happened. Like the minute I switched from the zoomed out to zoomed in approach, everyone is my enemy. Every single person is my enemy. Little things seem like big problems and it's almost like I have to resolve it. Sometimes you really don't have to resolve it because it's not as big of a problem that you're making it out to be. Like the worst case scenario of that problem is usually never going to happen. All you need to do is just say, it's about just having trust in yourself that when the problem does happen, if it does happen, we have the ability to resolve it. We don't have to resolve the problems that don't happen now. The zoomed in approach people make stories in their head and they go to the end goal of it and they solve that problem, which might eventually happen in like step 100, but probably you're in step 1 and you have 99 steps for it to happen. So use it as a data point, but having trust and pauses help as well. So it is trust and pause. For example, I know I'll address this problem because now this is bothering me, but can I address it tomorrow? Can I address it an hour later? Just take that little time. At least we can address it in a mature way. So, for zoomed out approach people, vulnerability is probably the key. For zoomed in people, the key is trust and pause before we resolve the problem. That's all I wanted to share. Hope it makes some sense. And for people who messaged me about their view of life, now tell me what you think. Did it help you? Do you resonate with this? Does it make sense at all? I would love to know. On that note, have a lovely day, evening, wherever you are. Have a lovely time, everyone. Bye.